Welcome back to America Decides. It's great to have you with us. President Biden is facing growing calls to issue more pardons following his decision to grant a sweeping pardon to his son, Hunter. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries is one of those advocates. He argues the president should, quote, pardon on a case-by-case basis the working-class Americans in the federal prison system whose lives have been ruined by unjustly aggressive prosecutions for nonviolent offenses, unquote. Jasmine Wright is a politics reporter at NOTUS. She co-wrote an article detailing calls from progressives and so-called clemency groups for Mr. Biden to issue many more pardons before leaving office. Jasmine, as always, great to see you.
Great to see you.
Remind our audience of some history here,
Sure.
because those who are advocating for more pardons don't hold Joe Biden, the senator, entirely responsible for federal laws written about crime in the 80s and 90s, but they don't let him off the hook, and they believe that history should inform his judgment and actions now, correct?
That's absolutely right. I think that one of the huge issues for Biden in the 2020 election, obviously he was successful, but one of those huge issues was his actions writing that crime bill, participating in it, talking about it favorably for years after it was put in place. People who feel that that crime bill was instrumental in creating this federal prison policies that we have now, and kind of just the upwards numbers of people who exist in these prison systems. And so he dealt with that a lot in 2020 and basically tried to make amends for it, saying that he would be more favorable on crime, on harsh punishments, and trying to really turn the page from that. And so therefore, these people who we spoke to, not just on the left, although we spoke to people like Representative Ayanna Pressley, but folks in these clemency groups. One woman was actually granted clemency from former President Barack Obama. They want to see Biden live up to that, particularly because not everybody was okay with him pardoning Hunter Biden, but some folks were saying, yeah, you can pardon your husband. You pardon your son. We understand why, but you should pardon others, in part because he's only to this date pardoned 25 people so far, really falling far below when it comes to him and his predecessors.
So how many numbers, what are the numbers we're talking about, the advocates look at as the potential pool of those who might, from their vantage point, either qualify for clemency or full pardons? Yeah,
so the number that was thrown around was about 10,000. Now, that's not the amount that they expect Joe Biden to pardon. Maybe some of those people won't be pardoned at all, but certainly it's in the thousands, scores and scores of people who they feel that have committed lower-level crimes. Of course, we're talking about federal imprisonment, not state, because the president
can't do anything about that.
Right, but for people within the federal custody system, we're talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of people who people believe deserve pardons because of some of these lower level offenses, particularly like weed offenses that don't have any crime attached to it or things like that. And so that's who they want to see Biden really enact pardons for. Now, to their credit, the White House, in defending this pardon earlier in the week, said that we should be expecting more. But the question is how many more? And people are really focused on what number of folks Biden will move forward with.
And to this history question, the clemency advocates say in many cases, or certainly in some noticeable cases, people are in the federal prison system for associated crimes, meaning a weed violation with something else, neither of which were nonviolent, but they're still in the federal prison system for a very long time.
Sure. Yeah, there are so many different classifications of why people are within the federal imprisonment system, in part because of the rules put in place by Joe Biden, they believe, because of the ways that nonviolent drug crimes were stacked up, the 3 strikes rule, certain things that have been decriminalized or taken off the books by various presidents. Sure, really evaluated, but still some people remain in prison because of them. And so these are the folks who they want the White House to take a real clear look at, really trying to show, or really trying to push Biden to show that he is following with what he said he would do in 2020, was really look at what laws are on the books and try to create some sort of equality and justice for folks who people believe have been robbed of that equality and justice.
Jasmine Wright with NOTUS, thank you very much for your time and your expertise.